It's October 9th. JLD here, and welcome to MSTR today and the Treasury Titans. And listen, Michael Saylor wants us to release the bulls. I know it's frustrating. We go to 126 all-time high. We get knocked back down to 120. We climb our way back up to 124,000. Then we get knocked back down to 120,000. Well, as I speak, we are back on the climb back up. We're in the mid 121s, like around 121,400. I don't know where it's going to be when you're watching this, but that's where it's at right now. And guess what? It's inevitable, my friends. This is the path that we are on. Volatility is vitality. Please remember that you are on this train and you will get rewarded justly as a result. Because Michael Saylor says, release the bulls. So let's go ahead and have some fun actually looking at this video of releasing the bulls. I'm going to maximize this out and let's just take a listen. All right, just a little nice Michael Saylor humor per usual. I will say that my father ran with the bulls in Pamplona, Spain, and he always has stories to tell about that. I'll never do it personally. I just feel like now that I'm a father, those days are behind me. But I may be present one day when the bulls are being run. We'll see. Time will tell. If anybody has ever been there or has done the bull running, let me know in the comment section. That'd be fun to know. But let's keep on moving because Jeff Walton wants us to just imagine having $250,000 in credit card limit and a mortgage that's 5 times your assets, but you're still worried about Strategy's 15% leverage. There's bad debt everywhere at scale, and credit quality will become increasingly more important in the digital era, backed by digital capital. It's just absolutely a joke. And I mean, it is an absolute joke that people think that Strategy is leveraged. And there's so many examples, but I mean, it's like going to buy $1 million house and putting $800,000 down. Are you leveraged? Not really, because you just put $800,000 down on $1 million house. So yeah, you have $200,000 of debt, but what's going on here? The leverage, come on. I mean, let's get with it here, my friends. And we have a video clip coming up about this shortly, so definitely check that out. Anthony Pompliano says, history will look back and show that the gold bugs and the Bitcoiners were right. It won't matter that they have been mocked, ridiculed, or fought along the way. They will be celebrated for trying to warn the world about accelerated currency debasement. And Anthony Pompliano, great dude. I'm an investor in BRR, his ProCap company. I think they're going to do good things. But at the end of the day, his big idea, he says every great investor has one big idea. And Anthony's big idea is that the government will never stop printing money. I happen to agree with him. And if you happen to agree with that statement that the government will never stop printing money, then Bitcoin is inevitable to 10 million, to 20 million, to 100 million and beyond. Now, the timeline, who knows? It's inevitable. It's going to happen. Prepare accordingly. Chris says, I'm old enough to remember when Strategy was issuing a $2.6 billion convertible bond with a 0% coupon at 55% conversion premium. Those were the days. And I had to chuckle at this because I remember that as well. I remember we were so pumped when this happened. We're like, oh my God, they're literally at a 0% coupon. Like that was the focus. And by the way, that was great. That was a great exchange when he was able to buy Bitcoin at that price point when it happened. This was about a year and a half, 2 years ago. That was an amazing opportunity. I'm really glad Saylor did that. But now we're in such a better and stronger position with Strategy, with what they're doing, with their preferred stocks, with everything else that's in play. Exciting times ahead, my friends. Bitcoin Archive says, spot Bitcoin ETFs notch 8 straight days of net inflows. Look at these inflows. It's all green. You can tell this was a tough stretch. This is the summer doldrums here. You had some weak up days, some decent down days, a little good up days, then some more down days. It's just looking strong right here. Now, of course, there's that huge Bitcoin whale that's just dumping on the market right now, and that's fine. That'll happen. That'll always happen at certain price points. That's why Bitcoin is never going up and to the right forever. There will always be retracements, and that's okay. But these inflows, man, bullish. B 21 million says, hey, just in 3 weeks until MSTR Q3 earnings. And here we go. October 30th, circle it on the calendar. I will be reporting live on this earnings call. I mean, it's going to be so much fun. We already know that there's billions and billions of dollars in profits that are locked in. So that's awesome. You know, they closed Q2 at 107. They closed Q3 at 114. That delta, that is insane delta of 7,000, Bitcoin. And of course, that's per Bitcoin. And, when you own 640,000 Bitcoin, that adds up. Well, good times for all. It'll be a fun time. And then, of course, there'll be the countdown to the S&P announcements. So that'll be very fun to talk about. There's 57 days until the changes announcement happens. So time just keeps on ticking, my friends, and we just keep on winning. Strategy says, join us for our Q3 2025 earnings call on Thursday, October 30th at 5 p.m. The call will be live streamed on Zoom, X, and YouTube. And as you know, this is must-see TV. I have this circled 10 times on my calendar. I will tell you, luckily, I'm not expecting a child on this day, but if I did, I would probably be clamoring for a C-section on October 29th. I'm just kidding. That's a bad joke, but I'm just saying I really, really want to be live on October 30th, and wild horses will have to drag me away from the computer because whatever Michael Saylor, Fong Lee, and the strategy team have cooked up, I will not miss it. Adrian Morrison says, MSTR strike, stripe, stride, stretch. People still don't get it, but I'll keep saying it until everyone does. The ATM and share dilution are not what has been driving share price. Do I have to do a video series on this or something? The answer is yes, you do, Adrian, because they'll keep saying this forever, whether you do a video or not. But at least we can keep pointing to the video when you do. It's just easy access. So I love that. Rohan says, 1 IBIT share equals fixed Bitcoin exposure, which, by the way, is amazing. I love the fact that somebody can just buy an IBIT share and have fixed Bitcoin exposure. I, of course, choose to do cold storage with Bitcoin, but that's my choice. 1 MSTR share, potential increase in Bitcoin exposure without needing to buy more shares. It's just more Bitcoin exposure, more Bitcoin yield, more Bitcoin gain every single day as Saylor cooks, as strategy cooks, as the team cooks. Different tools, different risks, different rewards. And yes, there are different risks and different rewards. You can see what happens here. Big up, big down, big up, big down. Whereas Bitcoin in comparison, I mean, it doesn't look like it's that volatile compared to MSTR because it's not comparatively. But volatility is vitality, as we know. Michael Saylor says, today, the 30-year historical volatility of Stretch reached an all-time low of 5%. This is huge, by the way. This is what Michael Saylor is going for. He wants it at 5%, and then 4%, and then 2%, and then 1%, and he will get there over time. But the fact that he's already down to 5% volatility on this is amazing. The fact that he's already right around $99 per share is amazing. I can't wait till it hits 100. And then I can't wait till it's 101 and he starts ATMing the crap out of it. Then I can't wait till it gets back down to 99 because then he's going to raise the interest to 10.5% and I'll just get paid more on my stretch and life will be good. So he is going to financial engineer this to death in a great way. And it is the iPhone moment for strategy. You heard it with Michael Saylor first, maybe with me 15th or 16th. Documenting Saylor just wants us to know that Bitcoin changes us. Michael Saylor says in 2013, Bitcoin days are numbered. It seems like just a matter of time before it suffers the same fate as online gambling. And then just a mere 8 years later, focus on #Bitcoin. Listen, if it took Michael Saylor 8 years to figure it out, if it took Michael Saylor all the way until 2020 to start his strategy, and he is the financial engineering genius of our lifetime, I believe that. I'm sure many of you believe that as well. Some of you don't. That's fine. But some of you do. I think we should all feel okay about investing in Bitcoin, recently, or MSTR recently. Guess what? Time is on our side. I have a great 6-minute video clip from MSTR True North. You're not going to want to miss this. They go into some great details, and we'll do that as soon as we get back from thanking our sponsors. PayPal just made it official. They're letting US merchants accept Bitcoin. That's not just a news story, it's a sign of where things are going. And it raises a critical question. If the world is shifting toward Bitcoin, are you doing enough to participate? Because here's a powerful way to go further: convert an old 401k or IRA into a crypto IRA with the help of Bit IRA. Bit IRA will help you convert it free of taxes or penalties. And here's why you'll love them: end to end insurance, highly secure storage, multi encryption, and registered with the US government. And it's fully IRS compliant. Best of all, you can trade crypto within your retirement account without taxes incurred on any buys or sells. If you already put money into an IRA or employer sponsor 401k on a regular basis, why not invest into a Bitcoin IRA each month? Just go to bitira.com/JLD and request a free info guide. Once you do that and open your IRA, you'll get a free ledger. Again, that's bitira.com/JLD to open a tax sheltered IRA in Bitcoin.
Exposure per share is increasing drastically year over year. Like, why do you buy this over IBIT? Your Bitcoin per share, your Bitcoin exposure per share is increasing drastically over time. Let's jump into statistics, which we talk about every week, and we just take a look at the health of MSTR, which is the, what do you want to call him, a 1,000-pound gorilla in the scene. We are going to share my screen here.
The 1080-pound gorilla.
1080-pound gorilla, exactly. Long 1080s. Okay, MSTR financial leverage. So we show this every week. We've got a few columns here. This is different timelines in each different column. So focus your attention on what is now column BN, which is Bitcoin held. Strategy holds 640,000 Bitcoin and 31 Bitcoin. Bitcoin price as of today, 122,000-ish. MSTR price is about $331. Bitcoin assets, they've got $78.3 billion of assets on balance sheet, $8.2 billion of debt, $6.5 billion of preferred stock. So your net capital sitting on balance sheet, if you just take assets minus the debt, is $70 billion, which is an absolute ton of money. And you've also got another figure here, which is the net capital, which is the $70 billion number, minus 4 years of the preferred dividend outstanding. So you've got $67 billion in net capital when you factor in at least 4 years of dividends on the balance sheet. Then I've got this liability to asset ratio, which is just showing the liabilities, assuming a pure notional value of the debt plus the preferred. You've got an 18.9% leverage ratio and a debt coverage multiple, or a BTC rating, of 5.3. I think this will be pretty close to what is on Strategy's website. So when you think about, what kind of event would take a company like this down that has leverage of this size and scale, it sounds like a lot on a nominal basis, but on a percentage basis, it's really not that much. The price of Bitcoin would need to be below $23,166 for the assets held on balance sheet to be worth less than the notional debt outstanding. That is, I think, incredibly unlikely at this point. And many people on the screen would be selling everything in their entire world to buy Bitcoin at those prices, or something else drastic maybe breaks Bitcoin. I think that's a very low tail probability. So the price of Bitcoin would need to go down about 81% and stay there for an extended period of time for this to even start to become an issue. The next thing, I mean, obviously, yeah, hop in there, Mike.
Yeah, I just want to chime in real fast. So I've talked about this before, but you said it's 18.9% is the current debt.
Leverage.
Yeah, right there.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the leverage.
Yep.
That means they have the reverse. That means they have approximately, 81% left in assets. And what I said before about a month ago is that when anybody goes to buy a house, if you put down 20%, it doesn't matter whether the house is 100 grand or $1 million. You put down $200,000 and you're 5-to-1 leveraged. It's the exact opposite of what people are comfortable doing. This is a volatile asset. We all know that, but this is very low leverage. So when you hear in mainstream media, hey, Saylor is leveraged up to the gills, or he's got huge amounts of leverage, it's not. The notional amount is billions of dollars, like Jeff just said, but the actual leverage ratio is the exact opposite of what you do when you buy your house.
Yep.
And that's the interesting part.
Bingo. Exactly. The other column I've got here is just if you were to take out the $3 billion of convertible debt that's outstanding, that's currently trading really deep in the money effectively as equity. So that actually drops the leverage ratio even more. So on an as if pro forma leverage basis, the liability ratio is around 15%, so even less. So the price of Bitcoin would need to go down even further. And obviously, the price of MSTR has been down in the last couple of weeks. We've gotten a lot of crap saying that we don't talk about it. So obviously, the price is down. I can't control the stock. The stock does whatever it does, and that's just the way it goes. So, but like the reason we do this every week is to talk about the fundamentals. Like just because the stock goes down doesn't mean that they're not making money. Like the company makes money. Like if the price of the equity goes down, it almost doesn't matter. If the price of Bitcoin is going higher, the company's getting stronger. Like regardless of what the equity does. So there's a lot of craziness, obviously short reports and a lot of energy being like thrown around saying these things are dead. But the company's like getting like incrementally stronger as the price of Bitcoin goes up, which makes the short thesis even just more insane as you start to play this out and think about the game theory down the road, like the long term. Sure, are there shiny things in the market that people are chasing right now? Absolutely. We just saw an energy stock with iron go from $5 to $60 in like 3 weeks or 4 weeks or something like that. Yeah, there's a lot of shiny things in the market that people are chasing, and if people make money on those, awesome. We talk about this because like this is the big story. This is the huge story. This company has an order of magnitude greater than the next closest company of the best capital on the planet. What does that look like down the road? We're here to unpack that, and that's what we're here to talk about today. So the fundamentals, when you look at the fundamentals, the Bitcoin per share, or the Bitcoin exposure per share, is increasing drastically year over year. Like, why do you buy this over IBIT? Your Bitcoin per share, your Bitcoin exposure per share is increasing drastically over time, right? Just from 2023, you've got increase of 74% and then increase of 26%. That is more. That's more Bitcoin. That's as simple as that. You're yielding Bitcoin by operating and financing different operations.
What's the second best? There is no second best.